So, hey there, English expanders. Welcome back to another episode of Expand Your English. Today, I'm going to give you some time-saving tips which will help you to find time for learning English. You know that it's really hard nowadays to cram English in your busy lifestyle. I know. I've been there. You know, I'm a type of girl or a type of woman who rushes every second. I hurry up day by day, and I'm going from one place to the other. I also have a little son, so I know how difficult it is to find the time to study English. Today, I'm going to give you 7 tips, and I hope with the help of these 7 tips, or with the help of just 5 of them, you will think about planning your English studies, and you can cram some English or pack some English in your days. But let's start today's episode with a question, because I always ask a question first. Hello, everyone. Nice to have you here. So the question of the day is, when do you find the time to study English? Please write your answers in the comments below. We are really interested in your answers because we are different kinds of people and maybe we can learn from each other. So when do you find the time to study English? Okay, I told you that I'm a really busy woman, and I also need to find time to practice English and to listen to some English. And what I realized is that every day I travel to work and back more than 1.5 hours, and during this time, it's I travel by public transport, and it's more comfortable for me to listen to some English than to read or write anything. So while I commute to work, I usually listen to my favorite podcast. It takes 1.5 hours a day, and it gives me extremely good opportunity to practice my listening and to develop my pronunciation. And you, what about you? What's your story? When do you find time to study English? I know a lot of you has been postponing preparing for their English speaking tests because it's really hard work. And when you see the tremendous, the huge tasks in front of you, you tend to put it aside and relax a little bit. Sometimes more things are more important for you than preparing to your speaking test. I know you have the motivation, and I know you have the goal in front of you, but the task seems so enormous, so big, that you rather do something else instead. This is why you will need my time-saving tips to find the time in your busy day when you can deal with English. And yes, let's see who is here. Tell me, give me a hi, yes, Tundi, it's so good to have you here. Hi there. And please, Tundi, tell us, when do you find time to learn English? Because I know you've been learning English hard recently, so please write down in the comments, when do you find the time? So if you suffer from the lack of time, when you feel that the everyday tasks are more important than learning English, now here are my tips for you. The hardest thing is to find time when it comes to learn English, I know. Some people will always make an excuse, but if you follow my tips and if you take 1 or 2 of my pieces of advice, then you will get more and more successful with your preparation. Okay, now tip number 1. plan your studies. What I mean is the day before. So it starts at night, the previous day, plan what you are going to study and decide which part of English you are going to practice. Is it going to be a topic for the speaking test, like the weather or environment, or maybe eating out? Or is it going to be a grammar part, like you're going to put emphasis on the present perfect continuous, maybe? Or it's going to be a function day when you learn how to invite somebody for a party? The day before, when you go to bed, decide what thing you will study the next day. It works wonders, because while you sleep, you get more and more conscious about what you are going to do the next day. So let's look at the next tip, which is face your bad habits and make time for English. Let's make a confession. Every one of us has a bad habit which steals our time, which is time consuming, and which we spend a lot of time with day by day. I admit that I'm addicted to Facebook and social media. Some of you are binge watchers, which means you can't stop watching series one after each other. Or some of you may watch TV 3 or 4 or even more hours a day. Set a time limit for those activities, and after time's up, start learning some English. I will tell you an example. I know that I'm a Facebook addict, so I set a time limit that in the evening, when my child goes to sleep, I can scroll Facebook only half an hour. And then I need to read something in English, because that's my promise that I'm going to read more in English. And you know what? I'm also a responsible parent. I also set a time limit for my child when he can play with the tablet. Because if I didn't set a time limit for him to play with the tablet, he would play every day, all day long. What he's for, and he can addict it to screens very easily. So he can only play with the tablet Sunday afternoons for half an hour. So that's it. This is what you need to do with your bad habits. And after you have completed your the thing you want to do, you can start doing what you really need to do. This time, learn English. Right. Plan number tip is to plan English in your day. Yes, plan it. Write a diary and or into your calendar. Put English 20, 30 minutes a day in your calendar, because if it's there, it doesn't matter if it's a Google calendar or your phone's calendar or it's handwritten in your diary. If you put it there, it will happen. If it's not there, it won't happen. So, for example, you know that you arrive home from work at 4 o'clock. The day before, you put in 4:30, study English for 30 minutes. And then no matter what happens, no matter what your parents, your husband, your wife says, you sit down and you do the 30-minute English preparation for your speaking test. And if it's in your calendar, you will stick to it better. My next tip is find a place where you can study best. For some people, it's a desk, and they sit in front of the desk on a chair. Or for some people, it's the comfortable sofa, or the dining table, or the kitchen table, or even their own beds. It doesn't matter where you find the best place where you can study, but please stick to it, because if you go to that place, you get into the mood of studying English as soon as you sit down or lie down there. So are you a sofa kind of person, or are you a person who can study at a desk the best? Tell me in the comments below. Now, for a few seconds before I go on with my tips, I can see that some comments are coming in. So I would like to say hello to you all. Gary is here. Hi, Gary. It's good to have you here. And Cornelia, hi. She says, I always find some time to learn English when my baby sleeps. Yes, excellent. Congratulations for your baby. I know it's really hard for a stay-at-home mom to find time to learn English, but you always have a certain amount of time to study, and you can cram all things there when your baby is sleeping. Esther is here. Hi, Esther. Nice to have you here. I'm so happy to see you again. Hello, Christy. Good to have you here. So please, girls, tell me in the comments, when do you find time to learn English? Cornelia said that when her baby is sleeping, that's the best time for her. For me, it's the evening hours, but I'm also thinking about waking up earlier to spend some time with English before the family wakes up. And what about you? When do you find time to learn English? So far, I gave you some tips. I have given you 4 tips. I'm going to recap them at the end of the show. But let's move on with tip number 5, which is a really good one. Just try to connect English somehow with your daily routine. If you connect English to your everyday routine, it will somehow sneak in automatically in your day. First, you should be really conscious about the time you spend with your daily routine activities. Let me explain it to you. And I'll give some examples, and you know what I'm going to talk about. Okay, so for example, what's the first thing in the morning that you do? You open your eyes and you start scrolling Facebook. If you're like me, then that's what you do. So if you know that you surf Facebook in the morning for 10 to 15 minutes, then set some or a lot of English pages so that you can read your Facebook newsfeed in English. Or if you know, I'm sorry, I might be too personal, if you know that in the morning you spend too much time on toilet, 20-30 minutes, then use an application there that will teach you some English. For example, it's time to use Xeroplan then when you're on the toilet. Or as I told you earlier, I travel a lot to work, so the easiest way to listen to some English podcasts is on the way to work and back home. So my everyday habits are that I'm scrolling Facebook. It's a bit negative, I know, and I also commute a lot by public transport. So I can put English in this time, and I can make time for English then. And for example, do you drive every day? How much do you drive? And let me ask you a question, please. What do you listen to when you drive? Radio? It's a waste of time. You could listen to English topics or English podcasts, and you could work on your pronunciation and listening, right? So which everyday daily activity can you connect with English? Tell me in the comments, and I'm going to look at them and give you some more ideas if they are good or what we think about that. Hey Gary and hey Eva, good to have you here all. And yeah, little crowd is coming week by week. Yeah. My next tip, the last but one, which is the 6th, is absolutely valuable. So you should save time by knowing your level of English. Do you know exactly what level you are? Then you should find texts and listenings and readings which are at your level. It's useless if you find texts or listenings which are way too difficult for you. Know where you can find materials for your level. Are you at elementary level? Don't ever experiment with B2 or upper intermediate text, because then every second or third word you won't understand, and it has nothing to do with learning if you should translate all the words every time. The text is not for you if you need to use a dictionary with every 4 or 5 words. For effective learning, you need a text that you can follow without great difficulties. So this is why you need to use a text or listening which is at your level. You will learn the most from these materials. And let's go to my last tip, which is my favorite, and I've talked about it a lot of times. And if one of you has ever tried it out, they said it's brilliant, it's working wonders. This is the 24-hour English day. You know, it's really, really good to work with English 20, 30 minutes a day. But every now and then, it's really good if you have a 24-hour English day when everything you do is in English. You read everything in English. You listen to everything in English. English radios, English podcasts, or even English television, BBC Entertainment or CNN or oh, that's so boring. I would never suggest that, but some people love watching the news in American English. So listen to English, read English, speak English all day long with your classmates, with your friends. It's better if it's not a school day when you listen to everything in your mother tongue, but if it's a Saturday or a Sunday or during the holidays, so when you can practice with a friend, and then you do everything in English for 24 hours. It works wonders. It will change your way of thinking. You will realize in the 10th or 12th hour that your brain tries to think in English. And isn't it the best thing when you keep thinking in English? That's the aim of every language learner. So these are my 7 tips for you, how you can save some time for English. It's like plan your studies the night before. Think about what you are going to learn the next day. Face your bad habits and make time for English. Are you a Facebook addict just like me, or are you do you binge watch TV series? Then set a time limit for yourself and then stick to English. Plan English in your day. Put in your calendar when you want to study English and stick to it no matter what happens. Then you should find a place where you can study best. Is it the sofa or a comfy armchair? It's up to you, but find a comfortable place. And then you should connect English with your daily routine. So when you commute to work, or when you drive a lot, or if you spend a lot of time with housework at home, then you can also listen or watch some English things, and English sneaks into your everyday life. And also my tip was to save time by knowing your level of English. It means that you should read and listen to texts which are at your level. Please don't choose way more difficult texts or listenings, because it will ruin your self-confidence and it won't make you a good language learner. And my last and very best tip was, every once in a while, have a 24-hour English day when you speak, write, listen, read everything in English. So these were my 7 tips. So please tell me in the comments which ones will you try, or which one will have you already been doing to study English, because I know some of you who are here are motivated language learners. Now let's look into the comments. It says, yeah, right. Sylvie is also here. Hi, Sylvie. I hope you will also find the time to study some English. All right. Oh my God, Eva, you're so good. This is what I was talking about. Eva says that she is doing her everyday English during ironing. Ironing is such a boring housework or household chore that you should do something while ironing, and English is a perfect, perfect choice for this one. Okay, guys. Hi, Balazs. It's good to have you here. If you watch my video, then please tell me, am I better than in the first part of my Hungarian video series? Am I doing better now? If yes, please write this down, write your idea or comment in the comments below. You know, Balazs was the one who criticized me, and he was absolutely right. 2 years ago, I did a video series in Hungary. they were hilarious. You know, I wasn't very comfortable with videos. Even today, I'm a bit shy on video, but I promised myself to get better and better, and this is why I'm here, showing up for you every week, with my real face, not in a podcast where you could only hear my voice, but I'm doing video every single week so that I can step out of my comfort zone and become better and better in making videos. Okay, so guys, how do you find time for studying English? Tell us in the comments below. Yes, Chila says when traveling to work, that's commuting, you know, that's called commuting. When you travel to work and back, it's called commuting. Excellent. I love learning English while commuting. Right. So which of my tips do you use? Tell me in the comments below. And which of my tips would you like to try? I'm curious about them. And I'm going to answer every comment. If you have some questions, always put your questions in the comments below, and then I can answer them very quickly. Now, it's 20 minutes again. So this was today's show. And if you found this video useful and you want to dive deeper with me into this topic, I have a brand new live course that is coming out very soon. My goal of this video course is to help you prepare for your speaking test week by week, live with me. And you know, it's going to be a group training, a group coaching, so there would be only 6 people who can join. And if you want to be one of the very first to hear about it, make sure to get on my early bird list. You can see the address right next to me here. It's www.englishexpander.net/6. You can join the early bird wish list here. It's a waiting list, and I'll get you informed when it's going to start and how much it's going to cost. Until that, see you very soon next week, and please try to implement some of my ideas and make some time for English during your day, right? Have a wonderful afternoon, have a wonderful weekend, especially for Hungarians. Have a wonderful long weekend. Bye for now, and I'm really happy to see Sylvie's comment. She says, watching TV series in English. Yes, yes, and yes. And so I would say you can also binge watch the series if you watch them without subtitles or with English subtitles. Bye, Heinaka. I'm waiting for your comment below because I know you always comment here. But now, bye for now, everyone. See you next week. And don't forget to leave your ideas in the comment sections, and have a wonderful weekend. Bye for now.